Okay, well, we've been talking about something very, very important, which is teaching a dog to come on command every time, no matter what the circumstances and no matter what the distractions are. As I've said a number of times, in America, 90% of dogs do not come when they're called. It's a headache for people. They have to make sure they're on a leash every second. They have to be in a fenced yard. They have to scream and holler. They have to rely on their neighbors to catch their dog. They have to go to the dog pound to find out if the dog's there. On and on. It's a nightmare for many people. And the reason it's a nightmare is because the dogs have never been taught to come on command. And I'm outlining, this is the first video, step one in conditioning a dog to come when they hear the tone on the electric collar. And I'm gonna I've done this before, but I'll just do it one more time. I'm gonna hear, this is what the tone sounds like. So what we're going to do is condition the dog to know that when they hear that tone, something good is going to happen when they come. And Ivan Pavlov started this whole idea by ringing the bell, giving the food. So eventually he'd ring the bell and the dogs would salivate because they knew they'd get the food. And this happened every day. So consistency is an extremely important part of this. You must be consistent. So first of all, step one is, what equipment do you need? And there's not much equipment involved. You need an electric collar, and it should be one that has a tone. If it doesn't have a tone, it won't do you any good. We're not going to use any other part of the electric collar except just the tone. On most collars that have the tone, that tone will reach as much as a half a mile away. So your dog can be in the woods where you can't see it and you can hit the tone. Here they come running. People, when they see my dogs do that, they're shocked and amazed, because when their dog's out of sight, the only thing they can do is start screaming, here, 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 and nothing happens. Now they got to go hunt for the dog. With this method, you will be able to press that little tone button and your dog will come running. So it's very important to get the steps correctly. The equipment you need is an electric collar that has a tone, and then you need, or should have, it's not as much required as you'd think, but you should have some kind of a fairly long rope that you can put on the dog in the beginning to just get him started in this procedure. Consistency is the key to this whole thing. Ideally, when you have a young puppy, here's what you're going to do. You're going to put the electric collar on him, even if he's 10 or 12 weeks old, around his neck, and you won't use it for anything. He'll just be used to it. And that goes on first thing in the morning and comes off at night. It's something the dog wears and is used to, so that there's no association between putting the collar on and any kinds of commands. So this lesson is outlining the equipment you need, which is a rope, an electric collar, and the fact that you must put the collar on and leave it on until this is solid. When they get older, you don't have to leave the collar on all the time. You just put it on when you're going to go somewhere and you might need to call the dog. This will work If you go to a dog park, let's say, and your dog is interacting with other dogs, you can press your tone button. Here they come running. You don't have to go wading out into the group of dogs and get a hold of your dog so you can go home with it. Many dogs come on command when they feel like it. In other words, if they think they're going to get something, maybe their dinner or a treat or something, maybe they think that's true, but they don't come necessarily when they're distracted by a person walking, another dog off in the distance, in a dog park with a bunch of dogs running around, while they're digging, while they're doing all sorts of things that are called distractions. They come fine when there are no distractions, but as soon as something's happening, which is actually where you most need them to come when they're called, they don't come. So with this procedure, it will work if you follow the procedure. It's not rocket science, but it does require absolute consistency. So in this first lesson, you have to realize that you need to be consistent, you have to have an electric collar, and you have to be aware that at first that collar's got to be on all the time. Why is that? Because in the beginning, and this is sort of the thing you're going to be looking for when you're introducing this concept to the dog, to your puppy or to an older dog, doesn't matter the age. When they're coming to you for some reason, let's say the dog's out in the yard and you come out the front door and the dog starts coming towards you because he's happy to see you. Then you press the tone. So it sounds like this. And here comes the dog running towards you, and as he's running towards you, you're pressing that tone button. When he gets to you, you say, good boy, you praise him. So he's not learning anything, you're not teaching him anything, but he's starting to discover that when he's coming towards you, there's this little tone. And then he gets some praise when he gets there. That's the beginning stages, whether it's a puppy or an older dog that you are very concerned that you need to be able to call this dog and have him come to you when you call him. When he is coming to you, just by accident, in the beginning, you press the tone button. There's no command with it like here or anything. All it is he's running towards you and you press the tone button, he hears it, and then when he gets to you, you praise him. That is step one. There's no teaching the hear command or doing anything, just that one thing. When he comes towards you, you press the tone button. Now, the first thing people are going to ask is, what kind of collar should I get? I don't know. There's a lot of collars available, and some of them have the tone, some of them don't. You need to find one that does. The one I use is a Tritronics, or it's now called Garmin, Sport 50, which has a tone button. This little button right here, you press that and the tone comes. All the rest of it you don't need, but it has a tone. Some collars have no tone. Some have a tone and a vibration. Some have a vibration and no tone. Some doesn't have any of it. You have to do a little research because there's a bunch of companies. But this little collar here has the range that's required so that you can call your dog at long range. Don't sort of take this for granted. This is monumental. Remember, very few dogs in the whole country, maybe in the world, come when they're called when they're massively distracted. You'll have a dog that will. But you have to follow these instructions because a conditioned response is what we're going to end up with. A dog hears the collar, the tone, and here he comes. It's just like Pavlov's dog. When he hears the bell, he starts to salivate. Then comes the food, which is the reward. We're going to go through this entire process so your dog will come when he hears the tone, and he'll do it every time, wherever he is and whatever he's doing. So this is step one, is to understand these things and find you a little collar that's got a tone. So why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Now if God so clothes the grasses of the field, which today is and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith?